call the meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. And we'll turn it over to Tim. I keep doing that to you, Travis.
I've been called a lot worse. It's okay.
I've got to like decode myself. I don't know what's going on. Why all of a sudden?
Okay. Tim and Travis, they are awfully close too. So no sweat. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they're not that close.
Tim did. I appreciate that. I don't have a ton. I know we didn't meet in July. Department updates. I'll try not to bleed too much into the agenda. So we finished the Trotter track accessibility completion. We got the rest of the grant money back. So that's been wrapped up and completed. So that accessibility project's done, which is nice. So the gate area is much more accessible and the track's accessible now. I know that was on the self-assessment, so that's good. Summer's been flying by. Christina gave me a couple of winter last week of summer, our summer camp or Fayetteville camp or program. It's been going great. She's been doing a great job. We'll have a September wrap up with budgets and everything for how the summer went there and participation numbers. So in September, we should have a more in-depth review of that for you guys as well. The fall brochure actually went up today. So if you guys want to take a peek at that for fall, that'll run from September to December. That actually just went online today. And then registration for the fall will start on the 15th for regular programming. And then our wrap will be, I think, on the 28th. Wrap was a little bit challenging this year. I mean, you guys are probably all aware of the school calendar changes with all the holiday dates that we had. So scheduling wrap was a lot more challenging this year Christina tried really hard to get 2 sessions in, I think 2 5 or 6 week sessions in, or 4 to 5 week sessions in, but we opted to do one larger one at 6 weeks. It starts in mid-September and then runs, I think, all the way up till Thanksgiving. It got too challenging with like vendor relationships and not wanting to go too short and time-wise. So she worked hard on that. So that'll be opening up a little bit later. And then summer nights in 2 weeks, we are ready to rock and roll. We had a public safety meeting the other day with Board of Health, Police, Fire, DPW. Hit the buses playing, fireworks are go, Crystal Entertainment, Robotics Club. Trying to get the Rotary Club involved as well to do some things. So that's some program updates and general department updates. I know we'll talk about some capital stuff a little later on, but that's a big one too that we should talk about. But that's not a ton. It's just been a crazy summer. Block parties went incredibly well. Woodward was a little bit down, but it was a really hot day. But we had a really good turnout despite the heat. But I think all in all, it's been a pretty successful summer so far.
Yeah. My only question, it's not really even relevant or important for tonight, but with the concerts, are you going to wait till next year to talk to Rotary or closer to next year to talk to Rotary about the combining the food trucks and the concerts?
Yeah, so that it's definitely going to be ongoing. So I went to the Rotary Club, I think the first night of the concert. So that would have been mid-July. And so we did have some initial preliminary talks with the Rotary Club about maybe seeing if there's some way we can add maybe bands to food trucks on the front lawn at St. Mark's. They seem to have a really good turnout, and food trucks and bands seem to go hand in hand when you're talking about events. And then maybe adding block parties or movies in July, trying to capitalize on the big crowd that they get there. So I think we need to talk to St. Mark's and the Rotary. So there's definitely going to be some ongoing conversations, but I think I would love to maybe try to go there if we can.
I love the idea because then you're getting the older kids too.
Yeah, the block party, oddly enough, the Finn block party had a lot of middle school kids, which I was actually pleasantly surprised with. There was quite a few more than I thought we were going to have, which was kind of cool. I was not expecting that population to come out, but they did, and that's awesome. But yeah, so it's just going to be continue to have dialogue with them. We have made a pretty good contact with St. Mark's. He's the annual giving. I should know his name, but I have his card. He's on Rotary, but they all seem really receptive to the idea.
That's great.
So the Neary and Trotter kids walk on food truck days from school right to the food trucks because it starts at 3:30.
Yeah, it could be a really good relationship, and you can kind of share the workload, and it would be kind of transitioning and trying to capitalize on that momentum that Rotary builds in June into July. And we had our first concert in August, Paxton Crossing, and we didn't get a huge turnout. So I don't know if August people tend to try to get away one more time before.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, yeah, but it's just going to be an ongoing discussion. So it
Perfect.
seemed like it was good, off to a good start though.
That's great.
And our concerts were Wednesday nights, right?
Correct.
How does, so obviously Northborough is way larger than us, but they did theirs Sunday nights. Was their turnout, do you know if their turnout was good for a Sunday night?
I can ask Allie. She's the Northborough rec director. I'm assuming it goes for recreation, but we can definitely ask. I mean, it's all on the table. I think we just need to figure out, maybe talk to maybe a survey would be helpful, but trying to figure out what people want. Like if maybe we need to try to pursue more sponsorship dollars to try to get bands with a little more notoriety that have a little bit more pull. Like Stacy's really good. We have some bands that really have a really good following. Stacy Peasley's the kids band that everybody knows. I think we've got a really good offering. So it's just a matter of looking at maybe the day, the time, the band, looking at it all.
Yeah, I think a survey is a great idea.
Good stuff.
Plug for summer camp. My son had a blast. Loved the Revolution game. He had a good time.
Did he go to the Revs week? The Revs
Yeah.
week? That, they lucked out and got right down on the field. It was hot, but they were sitting like right on the field, which was pretty.
Yeah, and the players came over, it looked like.
Oh yeah. But
cool.
Awesome. That's great. I'm glad you had a blast. Yeah.
Actually, random question about that, because I remember seeing the pictures and seeing them right up front. And then today I saw the pictures from the police station. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to see what the cell looked like. But do you repost those? I hadn't looked yet, but do you repost those to Southborough Community Share and Care or whatever?
I don't think we do, but we can certainly try to share it. I mean, I'm always game to try any sort of social media sharing or marketing ideas that we can have to try to get the word. Not an awful idea either.
It's just got, a tremendously the bigger audience, I guess.
100%.
And it's just, I saw it tonight. I'm like, that's such a great for rec, great for the police. Look cool. Good promo for the safety building.
100%.
I'm going to do something. I hope this is allowed, but I see that Sam joined us and just went right over public comment because it was just the four of us. But because I don't think we have it further on the agenda, I'm going to just back up and just see, Sam, if there was anything you wanted to ask or bring up in public comment. Yep, guess not.
I'm going to run up and grab a pen real quick. Mine just died.
Okay.
I'm trying to take notes. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Dawn, my daughter's hanging up her cleats.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's got a lot going on with DECA and she just kind of wants to concentrate on that. And I'm like, oh, I so want her to do it, but I'm like, not my life, not my life.
There are a lot of girls this year, like a lot. Like there's like, I don't know what the number is, but they're talking like 30 freshmen.
Well, yeah, the freshman class coming in's got a lot of good players.
Two goalies, the whole thing. I mean, half of the summer league team, there's 30 girls on the summer league team. My daughter has to like apportion out, like, hey, you guys can come to the Tuesday game and you guys come to the Thursday game so that we can, manage it.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I think that is a strong class coming in just because I know a lot of people, like with the age difference between the 2-year age difference, my son's in that grade. And so a lot of his friends play and they do seem pretty good. So that should be exciting.
Yeah, hopefully.
I tried to convince it. And I'm like, nope, I gotta stop.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. I had to run out real quick.
Yep, it's okay.
I'm ready for note taking. That's really it for general updates and program updates for me, though.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments or questions on that? I don't. And I think it covers what we talked about the other day. So next, I lost my place. Sorry.
I have the agenda. I can, Kristen, if you're okay.
So, yeah, it's old business. So the field playground repair capital update.
Yeah, so we had two things. Obviously, we've had a lot of things transpire since we met in June. So we did have a rather large one. That was the big spring one with DPW with Turf Specialized Services. They aerating, top dressing, Calander, DePietri, Trottier, Choate. So they did a bunch of work in the May-June time frame, and we got that invoice in July. So that was a big one. So we'll need a vote on that. And obviously this is well within the 25,000 we talked about. And this is part of the plan to use those funds. And then secondly, we had some tree branch removal at Fayetteville that DPW had to remove as well. Still within budget. I think we have roughly a little over $40,000 left in that account to roll over to this FY26. So those are two invoices that we were going to need to vote on.
All right. I make a motion to approve the payment of $8,537 for Turf Specialized Services for aerating, top dressing at Calander, DePietri, Trottier, and Choate.
Second.
Oh, third.
All right, we need to do roll call vote. So, sorry, I'm toggling screens here. Dumont,
Yes.
Raylander, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, and yes.
Okay, and Lavalt's yes. So that passes.
Ooh. And we have a Stumpy's one for $1,800 too, for Fayetteville tree removal.
All right, so we make a motion to approve the $1,800 for Stumpy's invoice for tree branch removal at Fayetteville.
Second,
Dumont,
Yes.
Raylander,
yes.
and Lavalt is yes. And while we're on the topic of just payments and authorizations and whatnot, Travis, do you still need anyone's signature on the authorized payments?
So I'm happy you brought that up. The alternative backup signature request, I know, Kristen, you give me yours, so you're all set. But Don, if there's any way I can send you that PDF, yeah, you can sign it and scan it, take a picture, whatever you need to done. I know it's
me in the morning. I'll have it in like 5 minutes.
I wish I could have it digital to you. And we missed that window with Jen in June. And I wish we found the form because we all could have just done it there and been done with it.
Nope, no worries.
But I'll send it to you tomorrow, probably.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda is the 21 Highland Street Committee update. So when we last met, I think we discussed that we were asking for an extension because multiple reasons, not to go too into detail, but one, obviously with the extension, I guess, of the committee on the K-8 building committee, leaving many open questions, we felt that there was additional time we could make use of. We really felt that a public forum, obviously a public forum was key, and we were planning that in June. But when, honestly, everybody was so consumed with the NERI project, and our chair had a death in the family and an unexpected, travel for the funeral, we went ahead and requested the extension to align with the NERI the K-8 building committee timelines. Our thought process was that we could continue to dive into the different areas that we were exploring as stated in our interim report. And then that way, when the time comes and we have a better idea of what's going on, we're not starting there. We have our options. We could refine proposals as needed based on those outcomes, and therefore be right on top of it and be able to, move more expeditiously than waiting for that decision. We had submitted an interim report. It was a bit frustrating because we did not have a sense of what level of detail we were supposed to go into, whether it was a status report or what. So we provided a status update, not necessarily our research that we've been doing, which was we each were researching our own different areas of what we had stated we were exploring in the interim report. At the select board's meeting, that was voted down 3-2. Al had so we had never gotten to go in to speak to the interim report. That meeting got canceled because that was the day that the town's website went down, so they had to cancel all meetings. our chair had asked if we would be invited back in and was told, we'll get back to you, and we never heard anything. So we asked for the extension. Both Tim and Al, Al suggested, and I thought that made sense. Well, at least let's give them a 1-month extension and allow them to come in and speak to the report. Tim supported that. The other 3 board members did not. They just closed it down. So we at that point had one more meeting on June 30th to discuss what to do. Originally, the charge was to create a final report. We didn't see the value in doing so, and just close the committee at that point. That does not mean the work will stop. Like we said, we've done a lot of work to date. So, trying to figure out how we progress that forward. I know that the select board is forming their own or doing their own analysis under Kathy Cook. It remains, I don't believe that's going to be a committee. I believe she intends to just bring people in as needed. So I do think that our work will continue in one way, shape, or form. It's just trying to figure that out. A lot will depend on whether or not when the warrant comes out, right, for the special town meeting, whether or not 21 Highland, if there's anything on that agenda regarding either the disposal of the property or anything involved. So, if so, then we'll be prepared to present and, what we were exploring. And if not, then again, continue with an eye on what's happening with the other properties in town. And again, continuing to have research on what would be viable solutions or what would make sense based on the outcome of those decisions. Certainly it doesn't seem like anything's happening too quickly. So to rush a decision on 21 Highland would seem illogical to us, but we'll see what happens. I guess the other thing I'm thinking of, and it's premature, but it's just something to think about, is if in fact we do see an article pop up involving 21 Highland Street on the special town meeting, whether or not Recreation wants to take a position on our feeling about vacating the building, since we know we've discussed a lot of possibilities for the space. It should be noted that Youth and Family Services has not moved out yet, so they're still there. I don't think there's any upcoming plans to move them immediately to the I can't think of the school's name right now.
Right by the town hall, right by the building in the town hall, and I'm blanking on it too.
Yeah, the historical school of the town. I can never think of it when I need to. That's where they were going to move. That's where the Historical Society used to be, but I don't know of any upcoming plans, nor do they, to move. So again, it would seem premature for anything to happen on 21 Highland, but you never know. We'll be prepared if it does. So again, nothing we have to decide tonight, nothing to vote on tonight, but something as we progress, deciding if at some point we want to take a formal position on what Recreation might like to see happen. I'll pause there and see if there are any questions. Okay. Moving on, this is the biggie, I think, for tonight. I had the opportunity to stop by and see Travis, and we talked a little bit about this, but having a capital discussion, again, looking at our 5-year plan and more immediate needs. It blends a little bit into CPC projects, right? In terms of what do we think is necessary, what are the priority order, or what do we see in the 5-year plan, what's the priority order, and would we pursue CPC funding for any of those items, and what timing? Is this year the right year? But let's hold off on the CPC piece and talk about capital. I think there's some interesting ideas that we haven't necessarily fully vetted before. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Travis.
All right. Well, yeah. So it's I hope you guys I gave you some reading material going into the meeting, but this is where I would love to get everybody's feedback. And obviously we have the capital plan that we voted on last year, but obviously some things have changed. And there are some CPC projects that weren't on the table that I thought about maybe adding to the table, and I want to get your feedback on. And I want to, that's the big one. And if, and historically, if that's, I don't know how involved or what this dialogue was like with you and Tim, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, what that looks like, or, what you guys feel, what coming down the line. I think the big ones, not to blend them too far together, is the potential field renovation, and this is for a natural surface at Neary. We had 2 avenues. I asked Activitas to break them up in both softball and soccer field. I think soccer, both parties, both soccer and softball, baseball, seemed receptive to it. Soccer doesn't have a natural 11v11 field in Southborough, so middle school boys and girls soccer could use it for practice and games. It would provide them another 11v11 field. And then softball, baseball is always looking for potential other softball fields as well. So both seem pretty receptive to it and would support it. That would be more of a CPC project because it's a natural surface. And the other one I threw in there that could be more short-term in capital because we technically don't own the land. And I'm still waiting back to hear from DCR is the potential backstop installation at 9/11 field as well. I know it's a lot to throw on there in addition to what we have already slated for FY26. But I'd love to get everybody's feedback on everything. And Kristen, I hope I'm not overwhelming. I tried to send you some historical stuff.
No, it was great.
But I'd love to.
Does it make sense to do or consider anything at Neary until
That was my question.
we get the resolution on the school?
Yeah, I mean, I always think it's good to have it in your back pocket. And since CPC is very pro natural service, it seemed to make a lot of sense. But yeah, you're right. Without knowing where the school is going to go, it's obviously a very big commitment.
You do have historically the other 11v11 field. Well, obviously we've shut down Lundblad, but the other 11v11 field was at Finn.
Yeah.
So that field needed work, like that field in between the tennis pickleball courts, the up, beyond the fences for baseball and, adjacent to the playground. It's been years since I've been out there, but that needed work. It wasn't, suitable, but if you were going to put some effort into land there, at least we know it's not at risk, for lack of a better term, for some other project nearby. And it has this, I think it has the appropriate dimensions. It's just it just hasn't been upkept,
Yeah.
Right. So I do like the Neary idea, I will say, to explore, but the thing about Finn too, we have to think about is parking. If you have a baseball and soccer on a given Saturday, forget about it, because I live around the corner. Christine, you do too. On a baseball Saturday, they're parked in my neighborhood sometimes. So adding soccer onto it just feels very cramped. I know we've discussed it in the past, Don. Whereas Neary, we've got this huge open space. Obviously, it'd be dependent on what happens with the school decision.
I think you could, with some thought though, is baseball Saturday? Look, I don't know when opening day is for baseball, but
Usually the first weekend in May.
Okay,
or the last weekend in April.
You get a couple days in April. How busy is the fall season?
It's
not,
feels like it's 24/7 these days with baseball.
Not as busy, but it's still
okay. And so look, it's a shared space, right? And they don't own it. So if we need to try to carve out, like we have 9/11 as the primary.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for practice fields and whatnot, but like, look, we're space constrained in the town, right? So like, I don't know what we're supposed to do outside of try to develop the assets that we have, and we can try to be, what time is the first baseball game? Like, can soccer at least get a game in from 9 to 11 a.m.? Like what can we do to try to accommodate some of this, like as far as being collaborative,
No, it's all great points. Yeah, I think the parking issue, I know since I've been here and work with Eric on scheduling, I think they kind of strayed away from having practices there and games there. I think maybe because of parking or congestion or whatever it might be. But yeah, to your point, Don, it's we don't have a lot of, we can't go out. There's no expanding. You got to look at what we got, and you look at that grassy area and you see potential there.
Yeah.
And it's
No, it needs work. It needs work. You can't play a game there. Like last time I was there, we had to like dodge potholes in the grass. So I think that there's some amount of investment would need to be made to bring the ground to code, for player safety. But I hesitate to put money in the area not knowing what the heck's going on over there, you know?
This is great feedback. I know it's hard to say, okay, we'll do this with some sort of verbal, if we do a renovation or if we even build a new school, it's gonna be on that same footprint. We're not gonna go where.
Now, is there the option potentially of, you know, I don't know how CPC works, Kristen, but like theoretically, the level of effort to address either of the spaces is probably somewhat comparable, right? And so could the proposal be that, hey, we're looking to upgrade one of these fields, here's about the cost of it, we'll go where the town tells us to go, you know? Like can we at least sort of get your thoughts on this? And if the town's like, no, we're going to do something in the area and doesn't make any sense to invest in the next 3 years, then can we go over here? And if that's not the case, then, you know, our primary would be near, you know, is that sort of a?
I don't think so. I mean, I can certainly run it by, but I've never seen us do it either or type of proposal. The other thing to think about that we talked about is that maybe this isn't there's not, I was chatting with Freddie earlier and the other reason we need to discuss this is even if we're not going for something this year, like CPC is frustrated not having, you know, a longer term idea of when people may be coming. So maybe we're like, you know what, this is not the year to ask for big bucks because of just where the town's already kind of overwhelmed with this. Yeah, with the uncertainties and just the costs we're facing. So do we go for do something smaller, which brings in, I think Tim talking a little bit about Fayetteville, and then project out that next year we'll be coming for some engineering work for one either or of those fields. That doesn't make sense. Either of those fields based on the outcome of the school decisions.
So, I mean, that makes sense, but I guess the question I have is the money's already, CPC should already have the money, right? So this shouldn't be a matter of asking for more from the town because you already collect the 1 or 2%, right? So I struggle with asking the town for more if they already have it. Now, what I don't know, and we haven't discussed, Travis, is how much are we talking about? Is this a $100,000 project? Is this a $500,000 project? Right? So like that is an element of it as well. But like you know, are we anticipating asking, you know, for an article, or are we anticipating that the CPC would have to ask for a higher percentage to be able to help us with this, or like are we just asking to tap what they already have?
I think the goal would probably be to tap what they already have. Obviously, you don't want them to increase what they have, and we can ultimately bring it to them and say, is this a realistic possibility as far as funding goes? I mean, if to Kristen's point, if we say this is something we're planning to bring in FY 27-28, like it could be a new soccer field at Neary, wherever it might be, or Finn, wherever it might be, and to say it's going to be a natural surface field, irrigation, field work, prep. I mean, you're at like $900,000 or $1 million. I mean, is that in the realistic realm of possibility? What do you guys think? And I've had some preliminary conversations with DPW too, being like, okay, if we create another field, like maintenance wise, like, is this going to be something you guys can take on too? And they've seemed like they're okay with adding, which is good. But yeah, I mean, we can bring it down that road.
Yeah, they're mowing both those fields today, so it's a matter of how often do they have to seed and do the aeration and all that stuff, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's
Are
where
Neary and Finn the only options for an 11v11 field? Are we limited that much?
Yeah, they only.
Well, unless we go for
Woodward,
our dream plan of turf
yeah.
at
Woodward.
Woodward.
Yeah.
But I think we all know that's probably,
Yeah, that would require a complex to help keep the ball in the field. So if you're looking for the path, if the need for 11v11 field was at the very top of the list, those are the two
Hmm.
viable options because you already have the space, you already have the sort of use lined up. You just need rehabilitation. And so those are pretty clear cut. Now, we didn't get CPC for Calander, I don't think, right? And we didn't get CPC for DePietri. I'm not sure why. I can't recall. I mean, those were already in process by the time I got here way back when. So I don't know if that's because they more willing to do that now. Both of those we had to do warrant articles for.
it might have been because we were also in the midst of the lights, which were paid for CPC, if I'm thinking
In the
back.
playground, to move the playground too, was Fayetteville?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So the commission historically has been turned down as far as projects go, for fields and whatnot. Don,
Okay.
have you guys, I know I'm asking, has the commission been turned down historically?
We've never, like, the
Never.
projects the last few projects that we've done were all basically we had gotten the funding from the town, and then we needed Travis. Not sorry, we needed Tim. I'm gonna call you Travis. We needed Tim to help us like actually get them done because that was the missing link previously, and so that was years worth of projects that we had built up, and that he got through it all. And really, we haven't, outside of like smaller things here or there, like haven't asked for anything big. We weren't even gonna ask for the dog park because we had that funded elsewhere. We were kind of saving up if we were gonna go for the turf, that we had led to believe that would be a possible path until that kind of got shut down earlier this year. So that's pretty much where we were coming from. With that path shut down, then yeah, the next potential uses are ones you're identifying. Should we rehabilitate a field? And if in the absence, I think we'd all agree, in the absence of the school issue, Neary would be the one to do as the primary. The idea of the backstop at 9/11, if that's possible, I don't know if they could help us with that. The one question I would have, Kristen, that I don't know the answer to is can you do CPC on school land?
I think you have to. And obviously we don't own 9/11, so that's why it would probably have to be a capital, but it's not a huge amount.
We could if we got permission from the schools.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to like somebody tried to put forward a CPC article for 21 Highland Street, and we're like, you can't do that because the select board need to.
Yeah.
That's their property. The thing about the backstop, and we might as well discuss that now too, is Tim and I were chatting the other day. We need to. I didn't get to talk to preservation. I don't know if you got to talk to. I always forget the agency that owns the field or owns the property.
It's DCR.
DCR. I made some headway. I got to where the person that would make the decision, I've gotten to them, and it's in their queue right now. So I'm just waiting to hear back whether it's a acceptable project or not. I'm hoping it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what we're trying to do is keep people out of the woods.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that raised my attention was that we'd have to pour concrete. And so now that can start getting funny because we're near what, you know how it goes. Like,
I mean, there's concrete underneath the turf.
Yeah. So probably not an issue, but just a few things we got to cross off. But also though, what was the cost, Travis? We thought that might be something we just take it out of our budget.
22 grand, I think it was. I think I sent you guys the estimate. I think
22,260.
Yeah, so that's not a crazy amount. Like it's definitely not gonna.
Well, I mean, theoretically, we should be able to even potentially tap the 9/11 fund.
Yeah. And did we ask soccer if they'd be willing to throw in a little bit?
I have not approached them, but I bet I initially talked to Eric, the gentleman that does the scheduling for them, And he had mentioned either 9/11 and he recommended Calander too, as a backstop field. I don't know. But that was the other one we recommended, but he was very much in favor of it. But I can definitely run it up the channels as far as something they might want to help out with.
So I'm more in favor right now, like I'm more inclined to save the CPC for when we want to put in for the field. Because we can handle the cost of a backstop.
As long as there's, I mean, the question that I just don't know the answer to is like, is there any risk that there is no, like, is this one of these things where if you don't ask, you don't get? And when we think we want to come ask, there isn't anything, you know what I mean? Like, is there anything that, or, you know, like that's, I don't know. I'm just asking, like, you know,
Yeah,
it
I
may
did
not
ask
line up.
Freddie. I
Okay.
did ask Freddie earlier, like, so the applications are going to be available end of this month, due September 15th. And I was like, hey, so have you heard anything kind of big coming this year? And then, you know, she reiterated frustration with not having that type, that we really as CPC lack that insight. And that's something we're working on. And we're going to start going out to committees more proactively to try to get a better roadmap. So right now I can't say, I don't know. It's kind of those things, we'll see what we get by September 15th. So I don't know if there's any big requests coming from anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and looking forward a little bit too to help sculpt the capital. I know our open space and recreation plan, I think, is coming up soonish. So I think we have that, and I think in 27. So I mean, theoretically, you can do a refresh of that plan in 27, and then figure out, like, because there'll be a pretty big community engagement piece to that. What people want to see, what fields you want to improve, prioritize some stuff, and that'll make you eligible for grant funding too. So I know ours is still good, but we're at the tail end of that. I know Tim did a great job. You guys did a great job checking off a lot on that list. And we're almost at the point where we're going to do a refresh of that plan. And it might help you identify projects moving forward, short-term, long-term too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about the splash pad too?
Yeah, so this was a dream thing, and Don, you got me going on this because you had mentioned the dog park at Fayetteville. So I had met with youth baseball, and softball, and there was
and now you met West. Did you see Westboro's got a dog park?
Oh my God, is that what they are building over by the old state facility?
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Park. Yeah.
Oh, on Lyman Street up there?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
when you're heading towards the school to the left there,
where their soccer fields are down in that area.
So one of the things that I had talked to them about is potential for maybe expanding playground and taking that field offline. And they didn't see opposed to it. They would definitely love to see another field to go online, maybe the Neary one down the line. If we invested in a softball field there, it might help the case to move Fayetteville. So they didn't seem opposed to it. It's definitely use wise. They have a blanket permit, so it's kind of hard to tell, like, games, practices, where they're at. We just see that they're there Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, and Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 6. We don't see, but they definitely seem open to it. One of the things that we'd explore is maybe, if you got, obviously you've seen Northborough where they have the spray park next to the playground, is maybe adding like a spray park and a small dog park there. Parking would be the biggest one. But you definitely have the space to do it. I'd love to, that could be a really kind of gem for play space, outdoor play area. Could be a really cool project that we could do in the next maybe 3 to 5 years. And that would be CPC eligible.
But why 3 to 5? So let me toss this out here, because I can't remember what you said, Travis, when we caught up. If we talk about kind of short term, longer term, and Don, it's not that we can't go for the CPC money for fields, but people don't always understand CPC, so they're just going to see the dollar value and at the same town meeting as, you know, other huge dollar values. Is that putting us in a less advantageous position? But would it be possible to go forward for the work at Fayetteville, which I think is very palatable to most of the town, right? Like, that's not for any one specific group. If you think of a small dog park and the splash pad, and then fix the Neary softball field as like a phase 1. And then we get the school decisions and then figure out the bigger project, if it's gonna be at Neary or Finn.
How much was the softball field at Neary? It was 250, I think.
Yeah, that one was far less expensive
Yeah.
than soccer field. So I mean, I think when we went through the exercise last year for Choate, CPHC, it said they had borrowing power for, oh gosh, like 400 grand. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I mean, it's for a newer softball field at Neary, that would check the Fayetteville concern off. And I don't know the process for reallocating, taking a baseball field offline. And then I don't know if there's some naming or this has been gifted to the town and needs to be a baseball field for the foreseeable future.
Where are we talking about?
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
Was Fayetteville gifted?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'd have to look up. I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
So,
No, DePietri was, and Woodward, we have to be mindful of the trust.
Muni.
Yeah.
But the other one's not, no.
And I think going back to the previous open space and recreation plan, a water element was something, I believe that was one of the things that was identified as not obviously people want a pool, but a spray park would be a water element that would be part of the open space and recreation plan that the town did identify as something that they'd wanted.
Well, I mean, look at this week alone, right? People who don't have anywhere to go in this heat, would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, would it be helpful to do design work? Like if we didn't know what we were going to do, but at least do the design work for maybe Fayetteville or Neary. So that way we're not going to CPC for the full amount, but maybe Fayetteville is, I don't know, it's usually what, 20%. So maybe the Neary softball field design is 50, 60,000 and Fayetteville field renovation is, I don't know what that dollar amount would be. Would that be a better scenario? At least the CPC knows is coming down the pike in the next year or two.
So the concern, we're just circling back again.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with investigating Fayetteville. That seems to make a lot of sense to me. But if you couple it with Neary, then you're just tying it to the school.
Yeah.
So like if you somehow join them, then you're at risk for getting nothing, right? So I would worry less about a T-ball field coming offline for dealing with some of the other things we want to do. And you know, they can play T-ball at anywhere really.
Isn't there a field at Finn?
Yeah,
in the
there
back?
is in the back.
Yeah.
So there's like that. I think it's a very limited impact, I think, in that term. So I don't think it needs to be coupled with the creation of another field as much as like, so I would just try to keep Neary as its own entity as much as you can and not connect it to other projects you want to do, just to keep from being, I don't know, just
Yeah, that makes sense.
clean.
If you had to slide that into our capital plan, just for my help, if we put Fayetteville in there in the more immediate, like 26, 27 time frame, whatever that's going to be, if we had put maybe Neary field renovation, would you put that like 28, 29? So that'll let school settle and then.
Yes, I would push. I mean, look, number one, I'd push it out like because of the school. The other thing I would think about is like, we should see where this evolves, right? Because why isn't upgrading the fields part of the overall project at Neary, right? So like, why does it have to be separate? Theoretically, whatever they're going to do to that, they're going to take, you know, there's a good chance whatever they do there may disrupt the playground, may disrupt the land itself. Like, you know, why isn't that already like contemplated in sort of the project itself? But whatever. But yeah, the way I'd solve it is I'd say there's a prerequisite. We need, before we will put any more money into that area, we need to understand the disposition of the building itself. That way we're just not, we're not sticking our nose in and
Too many unknowns to try to make plans
Yeah.
around a space that
so
they could build over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense. So I'll slide that back on the capital plan.
Yeah.
And I'll mention that that is CPC fund eligible for down the line. But for Fayetteville, what do you
If you want to think about what you could fit in there, I think that's a sort of why not? Like we have such little space. I think it makes sense to try to think about what we can do, especially given we lost Lomblad and Neary is basically on the back burner because of what we've talked about. So really, at the end of the day, what do you have left? You have Fayetteville, and you have a piece of grass, at Finn. Outside of that, what else we have?
Yeah, and I think
Liberty, but it's useless.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think if you take just looking at our 26, what it is, if you take Choate down the line for a turf project, and that's going to be hopefully.
Honestly, they could play T-ball at Liberty. It's big enough.
It's true.
So if you take a couple of projects that were pretty light, we only have the park maintenance fund as 25,000. That's really all we ask. So, and if you went to Fayetteville and said maybe we're just looking for design this year, and I can get a dollar amount from Activitas of what that looks like, we could do design in 26.
Yeah.
And then project in 27.
Because I know it's not official, but I drive by there quite a bit because that's how I get to my parents' house. And that whole right side is never used, right? Ever. You might see a kid running around. And to your, as we were saying, it's such a beautiful property.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, with the view, and then if the historical society opens, and it could be a nice little area of town again. I mean, it is now, but
yeah, and it'd be nice. I don't know how we can tie it in and add parking in some capacity. That's probably going to be the biggest hurdle, but I can definitely go back.
Parking across the street? I feel like I remember.
Yeah, so I have.
I only laugh because it's a loaded question.
Oh, okay.
So he'll explain why.
But I'll send the group the email, but we did have an update from Mark Purple on that, and we do have 2 deeded parking spots.
8 spots, right?
Sorry, my apologies, not 2 eat. Granted by reservation for 8 designated daytime parking spaces closest to Central Street, 4 floating spaces in the location which shall be at the buyer's sole discretion. But the problem is it's not paved, so there's no lined spots. It's just a gravel lot.
Well, that's one of the problems. The other is that the owner of the property put up a really intimidating sign telling people basically not to park there.
So it's
almost like humorous what the sign says. It's like, if you don't think you should park here, don't, or something like that.
Non-shack members are limited to available spaces adjacent to Central Street between 9 to 5 daily when not required for center events. If you're not sure, don't park here. This is subject to random closures. Violators will be towed. Use at your own risk. Not a very welcoming sign.
Nor I know it's a separate topic, separate group, but it should be taken down based on our agreement. But
yeah, so I'd love to build in a little bit of a parking if we can at Fayetteville, if we add to that space, which might, but yeah. So is that, how does this go? So I know this is a good feedback and this is a good draft to work on. If I draft this back up and then retool some of these things, how have you guys, this isn't due till I think September 2nd. If I ask Jason for an extension and say, can I give this to you in mid-September when we meet after I plug all this in and we took a harder look at it, would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah, especially if we're not going to ask him for significant money in the current one, he should be fine with that.
And then we have time to get feedback from CPC as well, because their application will be due by the 15th.
Yeah. Yeah. And the spray parks are always a win-win because they are something you see an immediate impact, and it's a CPC project that you can see that people can use right away, and it's a high reward project.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Great stuff.
I think the other thing that would be important to understand, I know this would be during design, is also where does the water go? From a conservation perspective, since we're so close to the reservoir, how does that work?
Wouldn't it just be wouldn't it be a closed system? Like the water
I
goes
don't
to a
know.
drain, the drain goes to a unit that cleans the water, and then the water goes, like, I would imagine you would have you'd have some
Recycled.
sort of
Yeah.
a recycling system.
The recycling systems are a little more expensive, but they're definitely probably one option you're probably going to have to go with, given it the proximity of the
Reservoir.
reservoir, which is perfectly fine. I think most people probably end up going that way anyway.
Cool.
Good. That's awesome.
Is there any other capital that we've kind of lost sight of or that we're forgetting about?
26, we had Choate, which I don't know. I think we've tabled that, which stinks. But without the CPC funding, it's incredibly difficult to see that as a path without a major capital push.
Or donations from somebody who
Yeah.
wants their name on a field, but just not the time anyways.
I think you got to slide it out.
Yeah.
It just has to be slid out.
Yeah.
How far out would you go?
I'd go out at least 2 or 3 years.
All right.
We got to get past Neary.
Yeah.
Can you get a donation on that field even though it's already named after someone? It would just be that particular
It would be the such and such field at.
at Choate
Choate.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'd have to go to the trustees, but I think we did talk to them when we originally
Yeah.
discussed this and didn't get pushback. But we would have to go to them, to your point.
Is anyone familiar with how the trustees like grant process works? I've seen a couple people. I know the players. I know Tim went to them a few times, but I'd love to go. The basketball hoops down there in the lower lot need a little bit of love and might be grant eligible. And I didn't know if anybody knew anybody that how that process worked. I tried to look it up and I couldn't locate. Not to go too far off topic. I'm sorry.
Isn't
No,
the
capital.
isn't the but the trust itself is the head of St. Mark's, the head of Fay, and
Greg Martineau, yeah.
they don't have a link. They don't know how. They don't know.
I emailed Greg, but he's got 1,000,001 things going on. So I'll just follow up with them again. I'm sure they'll point me in the right direction. But yeah, we're pretty light. The Lundblatt Dog Park, obviously, I think if the Fayetteville could be a potential, if we can find a small room for a small dog park there, that might check that off the box. So I'm still looking for spaces, but that's the big one. Calander in 27 is the irrigation, relocating irrigation controls. DPW, I did talk to DPW. Don, I know we talked about that in June. DPW recommended doing it, even though I told them that, is it okay where it's at? They were firm that they wanted to see it moved. Unfortunately. I mean, other than that, we have our facility study in 27, which will be the open space and recreation plan, hopefully. So that'll be a huge help.
And can you remind me, I know we talked about it last time, but there's no recourse we can take in the fact that that was put on somebody else's property, like in our engineering plans or something.
Yeah, I can go back to them with it. I know it's not on our property, but I think DPW had some conversations with them and they said they would like to see it moved off their land, but I don't know.
No, but I meant like whoever gave us the engineering plans that told us we could put it on there. Like,
Yeah.
is it too late? Like, are we past that time period? Because we certainly didn't decide to put it there. Like, there was an engineering plan that told us to put it there.
Yeah, I don't know why it went up there. I don't know how. So Kristen, there's the irrigation power control system that controls Calander is where the hub is. It's actually on the neighboring, technically on the neighboring property, not the actual town property.
Oh, private property?
So it just seems weird. Like, again, I know it's been several years, so it might be moot, but
Yeah, they're not lines drawn.
right, exactly. Like somebody messed up telling us to put it there.
I
Yeah.
mean, the whole thing is like the land is donated land anyway. It was part of a development, and part of the development was to donate the land. Like that was sort of like, the quid pro quo. So I agree with you, Kristen. Like,
Yeah.
who did the drawings, and
Yeah, how did it end up there? How did it end up on private property to begin with?
then how did it get through like everyone and their sister looking at this thing?
Yeah, but yeah, no,
With all the checkpoints we had, right?
No, like honest to goodness, this was like painful.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the one in 27. But the playgrounds, we don't have any substantial playground projects until down the line, because those are, Tim and you guys did a great job. We're in relatively good shape there. So it'd be that we're in the next 2 to 3 year window. If we could get Fayetteville up and running, we're pretty light on capital. I mean, that could be a nice little window before Erie ramps up for a potential project there.
Yeah. It's kind of a feel good project for the town. We need that.
We need that. That's right.
Yeah, we do. All right. Does anyone else have anything on capital?
If DCR approves the backstops, would that be okay if I put that in? Would you guys have any objections if I put that in 26 for capital?
I have none, other than I think we should ask soccer just
Yeah.
is to throw in something.
That was the $22,000, right?
Yeah.
Or I can potentially tap 9/11, the revolving fund there too.
Yeah.
I guess whichever you think makes most sense, you and Don, from a fiscal perspective.
I mean, the place to go if there's sufficient funds is 9/11. That's the whole point. We draw
Yeah.
fees to use it. The question is like how how does it look in terms of how much we have and the interest payment schedule to make sure that we're okay there. But maybe it's a combination. Maybe you get some money from soccer and we get some money from the 9/11 fund and
We have to remember turf replacement and
yeah, I mean, I don't know what the run out looks like, but that's the whole point of that fund being there.
Yep.
I think the bond is paid off in 2032, and I think that's the last. But I think without having in front of me, I think we hover around 30 or 35 left. That's where we basically land every year after we pay out the bond payment. And it's the last few years, the bond payment, it inflates a little bit. I think we go up from 35 to 40, which is a good chunk of change, but we're pretty healthy afterwards. But I mean, historically, have we ever done like a half 9/11 revolving fund, half capital, and just say we'll pay for it?
We've never done anything using the 9/11 fund.
But that's also because I forget how many years we're in, but it could be 5 years at this point, right? I don't know time all in. So what, another 10 years and it has to be replaced? Is it a 15-year life? So we just got to keep our eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll write it out. I mean, depending. So we get it serviced every year by RAD, the company that actually gave me the estimate. And if they continue to tell me it's in good shape and some people go 20, 25 years. Obviously the price tag for what it costs to resurface it is something that can be a uphill battle to get.
Well, and I think Don, keep me honest. I'm not even sure if this was, but we kind of argued that it would be self-funded to a degree when that time came. So that's why I'm just saying
I wasn't involved when the last time it's been over 8 years since you guys turned that one back on. So it predates me. I don't know and I've always sort of been suspicious of it, but I don't know that we collect enough every year to be able to fully fund its replacement in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think
I take that one. I'll have to go back and see what we proposed, but in the back of my head, I feel like we made that argument. So not that we can't go back.
I'm sure we did, and I'm sure no one anticipated COVID and the fact that we can't charge. We have to charge everyone sort of like like there's a whole bunch of stuff that the DCR put on us that restrict our capabilities. So, but look, you can get there. It's just as Travis is saying, at some point the bond interest payments drop off, and then that money just becomes usable to displace it. I would, like when we did the work on Woodward, you can see a pathway there if you maximize the utilization of the field. Now Woodward would be bigger field with the lights. The lights are the game changer, right? Like with the lights, you can like generate enough. And then we wouldn't have any of the DCR restrictions, so we could do all kinds of fun stuff at Woodward. So that one, absolutely, I think you can make that work. The math at 9/11, I have
math isn't math.
I'm not sure the math is as good there just because of the relationship with the DCR and whatnot.
Okay.
the lease, the $10,000 you got to pay for the lease, and then to Don's point, once that bond expires in 32, that's going to add up quick.
Yeah, you're right.
You might be able to do it pretty depending if it makes it that long past that, if you just accrue that money annually.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you said, if you do a good job of maintaining it, it should it should hang in there.
Could you potentially bond it? I mean, that's not that much annually. Like if we just say it's a 10-year bond, we're going to pay $5,000 a year, $10,000, not even that, but like you could easily pay that out of it.
To do what? To redo it?
No, the backstop. Like it's
not. I wouldn't want to bond anything in this environment. I would try to, like, I would imagine it's going to be difficult given everything else going on to go. I don't want to. I like for, what'd you say, for $25,000?
Yeah, it's not gonna be much.
Me too.
I don't want to get that. Like, you have enough pathways, so we should be able to figure out a way without putting that bullseye on us.
Okay.
Hey, it's good to know. Good feedback.
I think so. I mean, like, having gone through and Kristen's done more of these than I. That is not a process you want to go through if you can find another way.
Yeah. Like I said, I was just kind of spinning things,
really?
but that sounds like the way to go. I mean, when it comes down to capital or 9/11, I don't think I have enough. Like I would defer to what you guys, Travis and you and Don, thinks best. Don's kind of like our resident finance guy.
I trust Don.
I'm
100%.
gathering that too.
Yeah, that's good to know. Good to know. Well, I'll put it in there and I'll try to figure out alternative funding sources. But I'll retool that.
I do think it's a good idea though, like, to ask the users to help. Because folks will, no matter what we decide to do, someone's going to ask us if we've asked the users to help. Like, so
Yep.
if you ask to help, if they throw in some money, that's great. Maybe it's a match, maybe it's a whatever it is. And then depending on what it shakes out to be, I don't think it's unreasonable to, we haven't looked. It might require taking a look at the revolving rules for 9/11, but like, I don't think that revolver has anything special associated with it to say that you can't use it for upkeep at that location. Like, I think that's sort of expected use. So I think you're fine there, in which case, I'm not sure what more we would need to do, because you have authority to use the revolving funds already.
Yeah.
So that would mean pretty much that it'd be like a courtesy to the capital committee to say, hey, just let you know, we're going to do a capital project. We get half of it paid by these guys. We're going to use our revolving fund the rest. Just like, hey, we're good. Like, and then you'd be done. You could put that thing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Good to know.
All right, good stuff. So we touched on CPC, obviously. I shared with you, there's no significant updates. We've been doing a lot of administrative type work. The one thing is that we're going back, and CPC projects are supposed to have in all of the agreements proper signage, something that indicates that it was funded by CPC. So Lisa, who's the chair, had invited Travis to the September meeting to discuss signage, but Travis is going to be at the national convention down in Florida. So I don't think there's great urgency. I think, I'll go to the meeting in September, and I assume we'll just get on the next agenda after that. So that's just kind of more tying up loose ends where this signage needs to go up. And obviously we want input from recreation in terms of, what is the sign? Is it, we'll have recommendations, obviously. So that's just on the horizon. Nothing we need to decide on tonight.
Would you prefer what other communities have put up for rec CPC signage?
Yeah, that would be really helpful. Because I know Historical has brought some stuff to the table because they have the same requirement. So I guess while we're talking about signage, really quick, not necessarily CPC related, but any news on the pickleball homemade sign?
No,
It's not back.
I wish
It's in Travis's office.
I hung it up in my office because I had
Did you?
it was yeah, it's like a 2x4 that they wrote with permanent marker on it, like no backstop.
No
was
baseballs or something.
no-
Yeah.
pretty out of all the signage that I've seen at court, that might take the cake. Best one. So that's going to live on in the office forever and ever down in all my years. But no, I haven't heard anything. So there was concern in the spring, and I know the school board was going to talk about it for our pickleball friends walking up through the playground used during school hours. So what we're going to do is we are going to work with Finn and Clayton to try to figure out, we're going to get some signage made right by that gate that say pickleball users, please go around. Obviously, we don't want to close the courts during school hours. We're hoping that they can work around that. So that's actually, we're going to be working with them over the next 2 or 3 weeks to get some signage up there. But no, they've been using it every day, every morning I come in and they're down there.
Oh yeah.
They love their pickleball.
Fact. All right, so CPC appointment vote. Just timing because I got reappointed to rec on 6:30, so now I've got to be reappointed as the rec representative if you guys want me to be to CPC again.
I make a motion to nominate Kristen Laval as the rec representative on the CPC committee.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Dumont,
Yes.
Raylander,
Yes.
and Wilfaltz, yes. Thank you guys.
Yay.
I feel like this is like the fourth time we have to do this with all of them.
I want to say it's been a couple.
Damn it.
This one should stick for a while. Oh boy. And last thing on the agenda is the Tricentennial Committee update.
I don't have an update. We did put the brick sales stuff in our fall guide per the request, just a small piece, but they did expand their board and they're looking for, I think, 3 or 4 board members. So if you know anybody, they'd love to get some younger families or younger people's opinions. So if you know any young families that have an abundance of free time, it's actually not, I shouldn't say abundance of free time. They meet once a month, I think, for an hour. So if anybody knows anybody that's looking to get involved or do some things, it's definitely a light lift. And they're looking for committee members. Yeah, that's all.
As we all go.
Yeah. And we already got a lot on our plates.
I don't have young kids.
Yeah, there you go. No sweat. If you know anybody great. I forgot why off the top of my head they expanded the committee, but they did expand it and they're just looking to fill it out. That's all.
Cool.
So one question for you, Travis. I had someone reach out to me. Their kids are in the same boat I am, which is they're, almost done with high school. They have a regulation soccer frame in their backyard that
Yep.
they were looking to donate if there was a need.
Could we put it on Liberty? Because I do think I'm serious. It would be great for the kids in that kind of weird, not weird, but it's like a bit of an outlier section of town where getting to Finn
it would be a big one. That's
what I'm saying. I mean, it's because there's a lot of kids that live back there and they can get to Finn, but it's not like right around the corner. Some parents may not be comfortable with them riding their bikes all the way to Finn. And it is a great piece of land just sitting there.
I didn't mean to laugh. I just laughed. DPW just took one away at Liberty. It was like an old one in the woods. So it was, but I'm perfect. If it was usable and like in good shape, then yeah, I don't think it'd be.
If you want to so that's the offer. I think it would need a net. But they're located in Southborough. So if
do you want me to ask you soccer? I mean, do you have any?
Yeah. Just see otherwise she's just gonna try to, scrap it. So, I said I would ask next time we get together.
Well, tell them to put it on free cycle if we don't take it.
True. I'm sure. I'm sure she'd figure it out. But she's like, hey, you do the rec stuff, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll ask.
I like it. Yeah, I'll ask you soccer, and I will see what DPW says as far as pickup delivery.
Okay.
DPW.
All right, that's efficient. Anything you guys we didn't get to that you want to cover?
This is just a note. So yeah, Kristen, you had said, so our national conference is in Orlando in September. So there's 3 or 4 days that I'm not going to be out. I'm going to be out at that. And then Christina's not going to the national conference this year, which is okay. Orlando is going to be a lot. It'll be a big one because it's Orlando. It'll be a pretty well attended, but she wants to go to director school, which is a program I think Tim went through the NMRPA, which is really good. And I think that's something she'd like to do in, I think it's February or March. So we'll keep you in the loop. Obviously, from a funding perspective, we're okay and healthy enough to do it, and very fortunate that we get to do it.
Yep.
Keep you guys in the loop with that. So there's like 2 or 3 days in September that I will not be around. I think it's the 15th to the 18th.
Mhm. And just remind me, we talked last time about the counselor that did the Heimlich and got,
Oh my goodness, yes. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, Aaron Neverelli. We had a incident with a site supervisor that gave the Heimlich to one of our campers. I think it was actually the second day of camp, which is insane. And she's actually the daughter of a paramedic in town, so we were very lucky that she was at the right place at the right time. We went to the select board. It went tremendous. She did a great job, and it was just super nice to honor a job well done, obviously. So we did that in Norwood for every time a lifeguard would make a save or go above and beyond, we'd give them like a special citation. And that's what we did for Aaron. Well deserving, but it was awesome. So got a little emotional. Everybody got a little emotional. It was a good night. So it was a good way to highlight a good crew. And I think tomorrow we're doing our farewell. We're getting the camp counselor Chipotle for lunch. So it's a kind of a farewell, job well done.
Can't order it from the one in Marlboro. You'll have to go to Westboro
Yeah.
or the other one.
the fire,
The
they're
fire.
the one who had the fire. Yeah.
No,
Wow.
it's disrupted my whole lunch routine. I'm just
Oh no,
Oh, the
very
one
upset.
burned down?
It's
they had a big fire in Marlboro. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
it's closed indefinitely. Substantial damage.
I didn't know that. Yeah, Westboro is our go-to.
No, you're good there. I was just there today. They're fine.
I'm
Guess
glad-
it really did disrupt your.
I'm
Oh,
glad-
totally did. I have to like plan meetings around now because it takes twice as long. It's awful. The whole thing's just awful. Can't tell you.
it is
Life is hard.
hard to believe that this is the last week. So it's yeah, the summer's flown by.
Awesome.
Only thing we didn't cover for new business is that we're wrapping up scholarships. We actually gave close to $9,000 out for financial aid this year for summer program, which
That's awesome.
this is the first year we've worked with Youth and Family Services to vet families that come in. It's been kind of a one-stop shop for families for assistance. So they can get a transfer station sticker. They can see rec-wise what they can get. So it's kind of a nice relationship with Youth and Family Services that they helped us out with. So scholarships were very healthy, and that worked out very well this year.
That's great. We don't have it, but next meeting date, I was going to say that I think, and by the way, that's great. I'm sorry, Travis. Thank you. Next meeting date, I would just suggest, given the CPC discussion, and whether or not we're going to submit an application, the application's being due by September 15th. I don't think we can wait a whole month to meet again.
No.
And I know it's a tough time of year with school starting, but if we can keep it to Zoom, I don't know how much time you think you need, Travis, to get that info pulled together for Fayetteville.
Activitas could pull it together pretty quickly. I think the Labor Day is the 1st, right? So, I mean, if you wanted to do it the week before I left for the conference, like the 8th to the 11th, depending on what everybody's schedule is like on weekday evenings, and it wouldn't be long. It would just be capital and CPC, and then that'd be it.
My
Is
only
that too
concern is,
tight?
I was gonna say filling out the CPC application exactly.
Well, when is it due? It's the 15th, we said, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Although I guess most of what we'd be getting from Activitas would be what we'd be putting in the application, but it's.
do you want to,
But I mean, yeah, I don't know.
do you want to
If
meet
we meet the 8th, then you have a week.
up to you? I mean, I could, if you want to do the week of Labor Day and then do like that Wednesday, it doesn't make a difference to me. And then that'll give us a week to get everything in.
That works for me.
The other Wednesday's fine.
Wednesday, the 3rd.
I can make that work. I don't have
I-
hockey schedules yet, so if this is on the calendar, it takes priority.
I have soccer, so I know it's in between soccer games. So
Good stuff.
Yeah, and if Christine, something does come up, we can always move it around.
If it's Zoom, I can do that from a hockey rink. No problem.
I've
We'll
taken
keep
a
it
lot
to
of
Zoom.
calls at hockey,
Something to do.
soccer field.
Yeah, you'll be at football, you'll be at soccer.
Yeah, good stuff. All right.
So like 7 on the 3rd, I'm just gonna block it off.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be it'll be CPC capital vote. That'll be the big one. And then I'll wrap the notes up and I'll have minutes out hopefully tomorrow or the next day, and I'll include a new draft. So you guys can take a look at that too.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, then does someone want to make a motion to end the meeting?
Do we need to approve June minutes or June? It's
Yeah.
on the agenda.
The meeting for June 4th. I think I sent those out. I mean, we can do them both. We can do them on the
On the 8th, on the 3rd.
3rd if you want to take a deeper
Oh,
dive.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I gotta back up. I skipped. I honestly was looking at the first page of the agenda. I thought it was short. I think we've touched on
We covered everything.
everything. Yeah. All right. Thank
Yep.
you. I'm fine doing them tonight, or then what do you guys want to do?
what's the date? I'm good. I'm good on them because I think we actually teed them up for the last one anyway. So we just ended up rescheduling. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it what was the date? The June 5th?
June 4th.
Yeah.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 4th as presented.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Dumont,
Yes.
Raylander,
Yes.
and LaBaltz, yes. Okay. Now, does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Sure. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:22.
Second.
All right. Dumont,
Yes.
Raylander,
Yes.
and LaBaltz is a yes. We've gotten so efficient. You guys don't understand what it used to be like. These were like 4-hour-long meetings, so it's lovely.
Hey, this is pretty good. A little over an
Yeah.
hour. Not bad. We haven't met in a few.
No, not bad at all.
And then next meeting I'll have a breakdown of summer for like participation numbers and budget and all that fun stuff because we'll have that recapped.
All right, perfect. I'll see you at Summer Nights.
All right, yeah, summer nights, guys. If you don't do anything, come on down. 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Sounds good. See ya.
I'll get you a pretty sweet Southborough Rec volunteer shirt.
That means we're working that night?
Nope.
We're just promotion.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Have a
bye,
good week,
guys.
you guys. Bye.